Hello? Hello? Alright. 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 We are pushing all-time highs. Freaking A. Let's see. Let's see. Crap. Alright. Well. Shit. Let's see. We got 9 o'clock. This kind of liquidity looks pretty interesting. And the thing is, I'm only looking for longs. We're sweeping all-time highs. We're pushing it. I'm not looking for... I don't short all-time highs anymore. I got burned too many times shorting all-time highs, so I'm gonna stay away from shorting all-time highs. This is really the only thing I'm kind of interested in right now. Just getting this sweep. That would be nice. Something else sets itself up, we'll take it, but as of right now, the way price is sitting, we are looking at, and those lows, we got, let me see. We got a pivot point right there, and then right at the pivot point. We got view up here, so we got a lot of support down here. I would love for price to come back to. But as of right now, price is pushing. If you look on the, let's see, the 30-minute time frame, right? Really, there's no reason to be even trying to take a short up here. I hate trading all-time highs. I mean, there's no reason to be even trying to short this. If you're trying to short this, you're just asking to get, you know. Let's see news. I think there was news today. We have news at, today's what, Wednesday? Today's Tuesday. Jolts at 10 o'clock, consumer confidence at 10. So a little bit of news at 10 o'clock. I gotta watch out for. A little bit of news, nothing crazy. All right, price is starting to retrace. Maybe not. If, man, bought up immediately. This is why I don't like all-time highs. It doesn't really give you a good setup. I really hope today's not one of those days that it just rips to the upside forever for the whole day. Appreciate the follow. Thank you. This is the hardest part, is staying out of this. I mean, maybe some people are scalping this, but it's not my setup, so it's just how do you even take an entry on this? I mean, I feel like as soon as I take an entry, it's gonna dump. I mean, you're trying to long all-time highs and trying to, like, you know, is a little bit risky because you never know when it's gonna pull back. We got a pivot point. We got a pivot point coming up that right here, so we're gonna see some form of resistance there. Patience. It was a 5-minute but 15-minute gap fill. Very simple trade. I mean, if that's your strategy, yeah, it's a simple trade, but if it's not your strategy, you're not going to be looking for it. So there's not even, hold on, there's a 15-minute gap. Where do you see a 15-minute gap? There's no 15-minute gap. Oh, this one. Wait, that happened at 9 o'clock though. No, there. Oh, 15-minute gap fill. Oh, gap fill. I'm gonna wait for a retrace. And that's the thing, is the smart, even if you're like scalping this, I mean, the smart thing to do is wait for a retrace. Because I mean, it's just, at this point, you're just guessing. Like, if somebody's trying to buy up here, where do you even have your stop? That's the problem. If you're scalping this, where do you have your stop? Is it just the set points? That doesn't make sense. I feel like you have to have your stop below a low where it makes sense for price to. There's going to be some form of rejection here. Because we got that pivot point. It's going to have a little bit of trouble getting through that pivot. Where's my water? My water. Where's the first open market candle? It was down here. I knew. I mean, as soon as market opened 9:30, I saw pre-market. I saw all-time highs there. I was like, yeah, there's no short here. It's ripping to all-time highs, and it was above view up. It was very bullish. Getting tired of these markets lately. Want to see what happens at 9. Yeah, these markets are getting I just don't like all-time highs. It's like, in hindsight, you see like, oh, this rip, like, yeah, but I don't see how you trade these unless you're gambling, unless you're just randomly buying in random areas. Because where do you have your stop even, right? Like, say price rips, like, I guess you could, if you're a scalper, if you're like a breakout trader, you would trade a breakout and then have your stop below the lows of this, and kind of, you could do that. But that's not my strategy. So I would rather wait for a pullback, you know, to get a good entry instead of trying to scalp this. Either I don't like all-time highs. Yeah, I've tried to, I've shorted all-time highs before, and it's never worked. Even when I get a setup, I don't take shorts at all-time highs, because usually all-time highs are just like they're almost like it's like a magnet where price just rips to it. All right, we're starting to get a pullback. Hopefully we can get a pullback. My area of interest right now is this kind of this is the only thing I really see that would be interesting as of now. Now, something else could form, but as of now, these lows right here, this area would be kind of interesting for a sweep of it and then a push back up. We also got on the 1 minute chart, the 200 view op is right under that 200, and we got a pivot point. So if we can come down, sweep it, and then get a strong close above it, kind of above view op in all these areas, and we can start ripping right back up. So we're starting to get, see, I guarantee you there are people were longing here. I guarantee you there are people who are longing here, and now they're getting stopped out because they're chasing it. Now it's got to hold, right? This 615 level. Price has to hold this 615 level as support. If it can't hold the 615 level, we're going down. How much money? Sorry. How much money should a beginner start with, and do you have any tips? I would say either I would say prop firm. Go with a prop firm, or you can always trade sim. The best way is sim and prop firms right now. Sim, you don't have to really invest any money into simulated. That's what I would recommend first. I would recommend getting a simulated, like a sim account, and figuring out what strategy you want to use and kind of learning that strategy. And then when you learn the strategy, go prop firm route. It's still cheap, but you can eventually build that, like, you know, that time in the markets of being able to realize your setup and then get payouts with prop firms. And then after you get paid, if you've proven yourself to get multiple payouts with prop firms, and you can eventually go live with your own account. But that's just the way I think you should. You should never, you know, put more money than you're willing to lose. And in this prop firm route, it's a very cheap entry model. You can get into trading for very cheap with prop firms. might be a good short. The only issue is when I look for a short, I would want like a high to get swept. So far, like since we're at all-time highs, there's nothing to sweep. So, and I wouldn't get short up here either. Even if price does come back up and take out these highs right here, I still don't want to short that because it's all-time highs. I've tried that before where I shorted it and then price just rips back up to all-time highs. So I would rather wait for a long setup down there, personally. But yeah, for a short, if you can wait for a confirmation, if some structure forms and you get a confirmation that you like, then I just use a demo account on TradingView. Yeah, you could use TradingView, you could use NinjaTrader, you could use, they all have, I think, simulated trading. Just use a demo account. You always want to, I think before you even go prop firm route, you want to figure out what strategy you want to use. Because you don't want to be wasting money either with a prop firm. Even though it's not a lot of money, you still don't want to be wasting it. Like just randomly buying at random areas. Like you want to actually have a strategy that you use and be able to take trades and learn off that strategy. Thinkorswim. Thinkorswim is more of a stock and options. They have futures, but I don't think their futures is really good. Like nobody really uses Thinkorswim for futures trading. If you're futures trade, I would recommend, like, I've never used TradingView. I know a lot of people do use TradingView. I use NinjaTrader. So you can use NinjaTrader to trade off of and TradingView to kind of like chart off of. That's what a lot of people do. I have Thinkorswim as a chart, right? Because I've had it when I used to trade options, so I just use it as my charting platform. But I really don't even need it for even charting. I could use NinjaTrader. The only thing I have on there that I need is ViewOp. But other than that, I don't really need anything else. Bro, what's going on your screen? The market's going on. Alright, we gotta hold this this level right here. Did you catch a sell? No, I didn't. It's all-time highs. I'm not trying to I don't short all-time highs. 615 level. This high right here. It has to kind of hold that area for a price to maybe bounce off of. If price can't bounce off of that area, I think we're gonna go for those lows right here, which I would love to see those lows get hit. So it looks like it's what it's doing. We're at ViewOp right now. I heard futures is like a knife fight in a phone booth. Not real. I mean, sometimes it can get like that. Sometimes, like during Trump tariff news, it got crazy. And during those moments, you really got to be careful. Like, you got to size down or not even trade at all, honestly. Because there are times in futures where price can get pretty volatile. Especially during news events like Wednesday, FOMC, price is going to get crazy. You don't really want to be trading when price is going insanely crazy volatile. So you're just asking, you know, for a blown account. But I just put $200 every paycheck and let it ride. People do that. People definitely, I mean, people average in as like their 401ks into like NASDAQ, and because over the long run, I mean, it's on an uptrend, so it's a very safe, you know, for investment for like a long-term hold. I'm out, entered short for a bit. Dang, you caught that short? It's pretty nice. Here, I'll be back in a second, I mean. All right, there it is. All right, let's see what happens. We got a gap right here. If the price can hold, we do have a decently interesting gap right there. I'm hoping price ends up bouncing here. Let's see, let's see. Oh, crap, huh? All right, we're getting let's see. All right, 20. If we can get momentum up, and turn off that fair value gap. I'm guessing this one, there was a tiny fair value gap right here. That was a good short. I just don't take those because it's not what I look for, but not a bad short. Let's see if we can. This is NQ futures. Didn't take it all the way down the other key level, but I should have. Yeah, you could take partials. I know some people take partials. I don't like that. Thoughts on news? Yeah, you got to be careful at 10 a.m. We got news at 10. So you got to be careful with that if you're going to be in a trade. I don't think it's any like crazy major news, but still got to be careful. Have your stop set in place. I mean, I'll probably take a position if I get an entry and just have a stop set in place, but we'll see. We're rejecting off view op. I would like this trade. If we can get above this gap right here, I would find that pretty interesting. As we swept this, if we can get a pretty heavy close, I would probably target all-time highs again. Yeah, be careful with news. Yeah, I know. It's just, I'll have a stop set in place. Did you learn from TJR? No, I never. I kind of watched a bunch of people. I didn't really learn from one person. I kind of watched a bunch of different, people and kind of pieced together how I like to trade. Damn, I'm in a long right now, close because of news. Yeah, you gotta just be careful. If make sure you have a stop set in place, like a hard stop, just in case it ends up, or get out. If you're near break even, you can get out, or just make sure you have a stop and take profit set in place. No, this is futures trading. I'm kind of hoping it doesn't start closing above before news. I don't think it's I don't know if it's anything really major, but then again, it's still smart not to. It's Tuesday, so Yeah, consumer confidence and jolts. I mean, it's not like a red folder news, so it's not gonna have like a crazy impact on the market. I'm starting to like this. I really like this. Especially if we can get a rejection, right? Get a structure form and then break out of this structure, close above it, so that now then the structure can hold as support. I would like that a lot. All right, we got 5 minutes till news. What are you trading on? Ninja Trader. But I trade with Apex Trader Funding, the prop firm. And I use Ninja Trader to execute my trades. I'm out at break even, never mind. That's smart. It's smart. It's better to wait till after news hits. I'm hoping price doesn't close. I'm gonna be so tempted to take a long if price ends up closing above here. But if I would just have a hard stop set in place. Yo, El Brutal, what's up? What time is news? It's in it's 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So about 4 minutes left till news. Longs are looking good. Yeah, if we can get above this 588 level and close above this gap, I think longs are looking pretty good, because then we would close above UOP, we would close above, and we would be pretty bullish. So we'll see what happens. What news? There is consumer confidence and jolts at 10 o'clock. It's not red folder news, but tomorrow we got a lot of red folder news tomorrow. Well, not really. FOMC's at 2 o'clock tomorrow. And we got pending home sales tomorrow. Crude oil, but crude oil doesn't really matter for us. But today, consumer confidence and jolts. Dang it. You freaking better not close above. Bruh. Please don't close above. Don't do this to me. ES? No, this is NQ futures. Should I leave my trade open for the news? That's up to you. I mean, if you do leave it open, make sure you have your stop set in place just in case. But it's typically not a good idea to hold it in news, because sometimes with news, price starts bouncing around up and down. Like, it starts going up and down pretty volatile with a big news event. I don't know. This one's not really a big news event, so may really do much. Pay me 3K, I will be the best trader. Okay. You have a course out? Oh crap, please don't do this to me. Oh my god, why does it have to close? Do I take it? Freaking A. How do you find news? Some people look at, there's a website called Forex Factory. I look at, it's called FinViz. F-I-N, FinViz Economic Calendar. So if you type in, on Google, if you type in FinViz Economic Calendar. But most people use Forex Factory. Either one works. And it tells you what news is coming out. Forex Factory is a little more detailed. Like, they give you the speakers a lot of times, and so. All right, T-minus 1 minute. All right, we're looking good. Oh, actually 20 seconds left. We're looking good. All right, awesome. I'm glad. 10 seconds till news. Do you live on your, what do you mean? Oh, do I live on my earnings? No, this isn't like my main, I don't do this for, I do this for fun. All right, news is out. Getting a little bit of movement, but nothing crazy. All right, let's see how this closes out. All right, news is out. Let's see how this closes. We can get this can close above. I'd be interested in a long if we can get a close. I'd be interested in a long, which would be say 20, 30. I would like it. Plus all-time highs is up there. How are we looking on the 15-minute chart? Let's see. See that wick on the 15-minute chart? Shows buyers are stepping in. We swept that level. Now, let's see if we can get a confirmation on the 1-minute chart to go long. So far, it's rejecting off this gap. And I like that we're at 10 o'clock. Usually we get some form of... Now, price can come back down. It's fine. If price comes back down and sweeps the low and then rips, I'll just have to adjust my risk based off of where... So far, I like it. We're making kind of higher highs. As you can see, price bounced, swept, higher high, higher high. So far. Omni is going crazy. Fair value gap. Yeah, I'm looking for a inverse. Is it not a thing to sell at the green peaks? I mean, for scalpers, if it's someone's strategy, maybe. It's not mine. I feel like you know what you're talking about, though. I mean, I've been doing this for a while, so... Staring at price. Price action. And I do take losses. Every trader takes losses, but the difference between somebody who's a good trader and somebody who's a bad trader is the trader who understands when to take an L. Like, the faster you can realize when to take a loss, the better off. And that's something I'm trying to work on right now, is because there are times where I know, like, I'm like 90% sure, like, that it's going to be a loss, and I stay in the trade for the full stop out. But what the smartest thing to do is, if you get into a trade and you realize it's going to be a loss and you don't like the way it looks, to get out for a tiny loss, you can always re-enter. So something I'm working on to try to minimize my losses so that my profits can be, you know, maximize my profits and minimize my losses as much as possible. But patience is the biggest thing in trading. Waiting for your setup, waiting for confirmation. Like, I'm not just trying to, you know, long right here just because we're at this level, that area of interest, right? I was waiting for a close above this gap. Never got the close, so I'm not long. I'm going to let price do what it wants to do. If it sweeps this low and then rips right back up, well, then I could take a long. But I'm not trying to guess, you know. We're rejecting off view up, so if we can get a pretty strong close above this gap, we're pretty bullish at that point, because then it has to hold this as support. All right, price is dumping. Let's see what happens here. Are we gonna take out these lows? Honestly, it wouldn't be a... If we could take out those lows and then rip right back up. Let's see what happens here. What are you looking for right now? Right now, I'm looking for to see if price can rip right back up and start closing above this gap that I have right here. Then I would be interested in a long. This is NQ futures. All right, we haven't taken out that low. We're kind of double bottom. So far, I mean. Appreciate the likes. Thank you. Gotta be patient. Alright, we're holding as a double bottom. Are we gonna rip right back up? What time is the next 15-minute candle? It's 10:05. Next one is 10:15. So about 10 minutes left for that next 15-minute candle is going to tell you a lot. So far, we're... Remember, 10 o'clock, usually, so we get some kind of bullish action a lot of times at 10 o'clock, so let's see if that happens today. We're holding it. Double bottom, but then a double bottom. Waiting on a buy. Yeah, as of right now, I'm more interested in a buy than a short. We're at a major level right now. If price can hold, if you look on the 15-minute chart, I drew this in the morning. I said this level would be interesting. Right now, we've kind of swept it once. We got to hold it. If we can start to sweep it and run right back up, maybe we can go for all-time highs again. So far, it's rejecting. I think it's going to sweep it, which is fine. Is there any other levels? All right, if this level can't hold, let's look on the 15-minute chart and see what. If that level can't hold, right? I mean, not really much. I mean, there's a couple levels down here. I would say the next one is kind of, next area of interest is like this level right here, right where that pivot is. It's a pretty interesting level. All right, we're not holding it. We're starting to break down. And obviously the lows of the lows, but that pivot point is a decent area of interest. That's kind of the next one I would be looking for. Let's see. Couldn't hold it. That's fine. We're going down. It's not to say we don't sweep it and then run right back up. That would be fine too. So we'll see what happens. So far it's kind of... What ticker is this? This is NQ Futures. 23,519. Yeah, I mean that's an interesting level. If it could take out that level and then move back up, that's a... How do you know which stocks you're going to trade for the day? I only trade one thing. I trade NQ Futures every single day, nothing else. For the past 2 years, I've only traded NQ Futures. I have not tried to even trade anything else. Remember I said before, I could easily... Seen this happen before, right? Where it sweeps a level, comes out, takes out the low, and then rips right back up. So I just have to adjust my risk based off the new low it made, based on how much I want to risk. So right now, let's see. 20, 34, 6. It's actually, it's still fine. Trying to figure out what risk I should take if it... 4 contracts? Yeah, I think 4. Alright. What is it going to do? Can it hold? Let's look at the 15-minute chart again. 15-minute chart just gives you a little more... Alright, look at it. Look at it. Buyers are starting to step in again. You see those wicks? That's a sign of buyers stepping in at that level. So if we can start pushing up, those wicks look good for a long. The buyers are aggressive at that level. But we'll see. Come on. Ugh. How much does 4 contracts cost you in commission? I'm not sure in commission how much it, like what's the commission part of it. I never really paid attention to it. I'm on a prop firm, so I don't know if it really like costs me. I think it does, but I never paid attention how much. But the cost bait, like the per contract, it would be MNQ, so it would be $20 per 10 points per 1 micro contract for NQ. So 20 points, if I take four micros, sorry, freaking A. 4 micros, right? That would be like $480 total risk. Because 1 micro every 10 points, every box you see is $20. That's why I have these 10-point boxes set up, so I can quickly calculate. So that's why I was calculating, like, if I want to risk, say, like $500 per trade on like a decent trade, all I have to do is count the boxes. So I just go up here and I go, okay, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120. Okay, 120 per micro contract, right? 120 times 4 is 480. So that's how I kind of calculate my risk. That's why I have these 10-point boxes set in place, so I can easily count them and calculate risk easily. To use the stochastics and RSI. No, I don't use RSI. I've used it before. I like to look mainly at price action. I don't like to look at too much indicators. I already have enough. Pivot points are a good one. View op to 200 are pretty big levels. I don't really try to clutter up, because then when you have too much indicators, one indicator starts to contradict another indicator, and then you get an analysis paralysis, where you're like, you like the long, but then this indicator is telling you not to long, and then this indicator is telling you to long, and then, but indicators should not even be used as like entry points. It should be used as gauges. Like, I have a pivot point just so I can see, right, where these kind of like major levels are. And if price rejected there, I know price could reject there because there's a pivot point. But I'm not going to take a short off of it just because the pivot point's right there. But if I'm in a trade, I could easily see, okay, there's a pivot there. Maybe I should think about taking profits or be careful because there's a pivot there. Longs. Yeah, if we could get a confirmation, I wouldn't mind a long, honestly. Look at the 15 minute. Look at the 15 minute. Holy, look at the wicks on the 15 minute for that level, showing that buyers are stepping in a pretty strong. All right, here it comes. The only issue is I hope it doesn't sweep. That's my only. I'm looking for a close and then a continue rip. There's one risk of it sweeping the highs and dumping back down, but we got a lot of I'm willing to take the risk. So that's what trading is all about, willing to take the risk. If you're not willing to take the risk, if you don't like it, you size down or don't take the trade at all. If you're willing to take a risk, you never know in the end where it's gonna go. You just have to gauge off of probabilities. And all right, what's it gonna do? There was already a tiny sweep. Yeah, so it swept this major level right here that I marked out on the 15-minute time frame. Let me move it up a little bit. It swept out this major level, pushed up, it respected that gap, and then it took out that low again. And now it's moving back up, so. Some people are probably trying to scalp for these highs. I mean, honestly, that's not the worst trade. This scalp right here, the inversion, the close above right here, for these highs right here, it's not really the worst scalp. Maybe I should have took that trade instead of this one. Man, it's 10:14. The longer price stalls, the more I'm kind of like starting to go, okay, it's having a lot of trouble getting up there. Appreciate the likes. Thank you. Thank you for the follow. Come on. What's gonna happen? We got view up right there. That's why it's having so much trouble. We got a lot of resistance there. So my theory is if we can break through it pretty strong, right, we could turn that into support. Right now it's having a lot of trouble getting through. We got the pivot right there that you see. That blue line is the pivot point. Then right above that pivot, right in the middle of here, we got the view up and then the 200. So a lot of freaking areas, levels to get through. It's going to have trouble. And if it can get through that level, in my eyes, I'm like, okay, it's pretty... Buyers are stepping in pretty aggressively if it can get through that. So far... Ugh. Man, sorry. I know I'm making everyone yawn. It's going back down. Think so? If it can't hold this level, yeah, and it starts dumping down, we're going to the next level. I mean, it's trying to hold, but... And here's the other thing, right? For example, this trade right here. If I was to take a scalp... Let's look at this. Say I was to take a scalp. Normally, right? Say this like sweep right here, inverse right here. If I was to take this scalp, this entry, the inverse right here. Normally, I would want to take for the highs, right? But if you look on the chart, there's so much resistance right at these highs. There's so much resistance there that it would be smart to take it. You take profit right below that pivot point if you were long. Right? Because I would understand that it has so much to get through to get to my target that I would rather be safe and take a profit here, or you'd have to move your stop to break. It's exactly what happened, right? We inversed it. Look, we hit this level. We never took out this high because there's so much resistance to get through. It ended up just breaking back down at that pivot point, at the view op. So we have pivot, view op, 200. So these kind of like these indicators, pivot, view up, would be used as gauges for me to like, you know, possibly exit out of a trade a little bit earlier because we have a view up there, or shorted 23,587, 23,587. So you shorted this move then. Yeah, it's looking good. I mean, so far it's looking good. If we can break this low, it's not looking good for bulls. That high is a sweep. Which one? Well, this leg up never swept this high. We had so much to get through, it never swept it. It rejected off view op. We have view op right here. That's why. This was a sweep. Oh, the big... Well, this was a sweep on the 15-minute. This blue line I have drawn right here is a 15-minute level. No indication it's going up in a downtrend. Yeah, that's why I'm not entering. I was looking for longs, but as long as we're below view op and below all this, below this gap, as long as we're below this gap, we're bearish. Once we get above that gap, it starts to look interesting for bulls. But right now, I mean, there's no reason to long right now. You wanted to confirm a long instead of guessing when. Ugh. Honestly, it's kind of an inverse head and shoulders. This is kind of an inverse head and shoulders. On a 1 minute, we got the shoulder. There's the head, and there's the other shoulder if this can hold. type in. I don't really trade off of this kind of stuff, but it's interesting to see on the chart. And inverse head and shoulders is typically pretty bullish. That's a bear flag. I mean, I would say it's more of a head and shoulders. You have this one, this right here. So far, you have the head, you have the shoulder right here, you have a head right there, and then you have another shoulder if this can hold. If this can't hold, then obviously it's not. But bear flag, I mean, in my eyes, for this to have been to a bear flag, we would need it more like the structure. It would have to be like a triangle, right, for it to be a bear flag. Like this right here, and then like this right here, like kind of a line up. Because kind of what a bear flag does, right, is you have price that's wide, and then price starts to kind of like pressure into a corner almost. Like price that gets like a flag. That's why it's called a bear flag. It's because it gets tighter and tighter and tighter until it breaks out to one direction. In order, bear flag down, bull flag up. But no, I didn't. No, I didn't take a trade yet. I was waiting possibly for a long if we could get a close above, but no trade. No trade yet. There was a quick scalp here, but I didn't really even see that. I was so focused on this that I didn't even see that quick scalp to that pivot. I mean, I don't know if it would even been worth it. I would have had pretty much, let's see, 40. I mean, so the head and shoulders is holding. Let's see if this can start pushing up. The head and shoulders is pretty bullish. Inverse, sorry, not head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders. I don't like that it's 10:30 for a long. That's the other thing is I hate longing at 10:30. Like if it starts pushing up, my only fear would be I would size down, because my only fear would be it would sweep this high because it's 10:30 and we failed to push at like 10 o'clock. So we'll see what happens. We're below view up, below the 200, so we're pretty bearish right now. It's not to say we don't turn bullish. So we'll see. I mean, and then after this, if you look on the 15-minute, after this, I mean, kind of this pivot would be the next area possibly of interest, right? It's having trouble. Can they rip it? Will this inverse head and shoulders hold? If this can start breaking out of this 572 level, Starts to look pretty good. Now maybe a flag. Yeah, well, typically a flag, right? Like for a flag, I like to see this. Like for a bear flag, right? It would be like this. So like this part, right? And then for a bear flag, you'd want to see this. So let me do this. Right? You'd want to see this for a bear flag. So price starts to, it's a lot of price movement, and as it gets to one corner, it starts to get tighter and tighter and tighter, and then it breaks out. So you have price moving up, and then price moving down into like that corner, and it shapes kind of like, that's what I call a flag. Shapes a flag, and then it breaks out to the bear flags. It could break out to the downside. Right? They don't always do what, I mean, just because it's a bear flag doesn't mean it's going to go down, but that's kind of what I like to see for a flag, where prices going up, making higher, like kind of moving into a corner in essence. This isn't really doing that, right? This took out this liquidity, now it's taking it out again. This was more looking like an inverse at first, right? When we got this bounce right here, because we had the shoulder, the head, and then the shoulder, but it never panned out. All right, we're dumping. We couldn't make that leg back up. It's fine. We'll see what price does at if it can get down to that. So as of now, right? Now that I look at price, right? Initially, for this sweep, I was looking for a possibility of a long. If price could move back up, close above this gap, I was looking for a long. Now that price has done this, right? Kind of like took out this low, and now it's kind of taking out the low again and moving down. If you, what time is it? 10:27. And if you look at the 15-minute chart, right? Now my bias is starting to change. Now this isn't a sweep anymore, right? If I zoom in, right? First, let me actually delete this gap. First, it was looking as a sweep. You see these wicks? It was looking, price was trying to sweep it and possibly start moving back up. It was looking like a sweep. Now it's confirming, now this isn't a sweep anymore. We're getting a heavy close. Price is about to, the next 15-minute candle is about to close. 10:15, so 10:30. In about 2 minutes, this new 15-minute candle is going to open down here. So obviously it's not a sweep anymore. We're starting to get closes below. So now I'm not looking for really longs anymore. Maybe this area. See how price reacts off of this area, but if it can't get down there, I'm short biased. I mean, yeah, short biased, sorry. So now even if price, right? If price comes down here and sweeps this, then potentially I would start maybe looking for a long. Right? If price doesn't get down here and price starts moving back up, I'm now kind of like, my bias now is changing to a short. If we could take out these highs and start moving back down, because we're pretty, you know, we're pretty bearish. And now those levels become resistance, right? If you look on the 15-minute chart also, these levels, these major levels that we wanted to sweep, now if price closes down here, once price moves back up, this now is going to act as a major resistance level for price to go back down. 23,516 buy zone. Yeah, that's, I mean, that's the level I have marked out. I have this 516 level. And we have, look at this, we have also, there's a pivot point right there. And we have this 200 EMA right there too. So, and what the 200 EMA is and why you see it different, right? If you look at the 15-minute chart, the 200 EMA is right there. If you look on the 1-minute chart, the 200 EMA is above price. But on the 15-minute, the 200 EMA is below price. That's because it looks at the past 200, right? you can't really see that. I'm pointing this up. It's a 1 minute, right? It's on the 1 minute time frame, and it's the past 200 candles. So that's why it's different on different time frames. So on the 1 minute, it looks at the first 1 minute, the last 200 candles on the 1 minute, and it plots it. And obviously on the 15 minute, it's a stronger level because it looks at the past 15 minute, the past 200 15-minute candles. So it's a pretty strong level on the 15-minute time frame. And we got a pivot there. So. All right. Oh, where did that price close on the... We got a new 15-minute candle that just opened, see? Got a pretty bearish close on that 15-minute candle. So now we'll see what happens. Obviously, like we said, I am interested in this level for a quick scalp off of it. But if we can't get there and price starts moving back up, if it can take out these highs and then start dumping back down, possibly looking for a short. We'll see. What does ICT stand for? I think it's Inner Circle Trader. Yeah, Inner Circle Trader. The thing about I can't trade. The thing about ICT is, listen, he's just a good marketer, right? These concepts have been around before him. He just made it mainstream. So a while ago, a long time ago, trading, right? The average person didn't really get into trading. Like, trading wasn't a popular thing. So like these concepts weren't like known. He came into the space and he just gave him a name, like a name that, you know, people would say, oh, it's going to take out these lows, right? Price is going to take out this high. It's going to take out the low. Instead of saying that, he says a sweep of liquidity. It's just another name for it. Gaps, right? Fair value gaps, right? Some people call them imbalances. I mean, it's like people have known about this before he even existed. So it's like in the space. He just made it mainstream. He didn't come up with these. I don't like when people say, "Oh, he invented this." He didn't invent anything. It was before he just made it mainstream. That's all he did. Because trading before was something for like people with a lot of money used to get into, right? The average person never got into trading, so it never was popular. So this was never, these terms never really like, but he complicated trading. Yeah, it's a lot of, like, listen, they work. The principles work. But if you try to learn everything, you're just going to be analysis paralysis. Like, you're just going to be trying to, like, one thing is telling you to go long, next thing is telling you to go short. Like, you got to learn one thing and stick with that thing if it works. But I never learned it. I never studied ICT or any, like, this was my journey in trading, right? When I started to trade, I just became so freaking obsessed with trading that I just started going on YouTube. I started researching different strategies, right? You have different people. I saw this person uses this strategy. This person's a breakout trader. This person's a trend line trader. This person's a support and resistance trader. This person is this. And I just looked at different strategies and saw how it works and, like, you know, and kind of pieced together how I like to trade. I would take something from this person, take something from this person, and I kind of, like, over time, you kind of develop your own, not strategy, but, you know, people trade the same strategy as I do, but other people it's a little tweaked, a little different for them, right? Some people take partial, some people wait for a inverse gap to close on a higher time frame. Like, everyone's different. Thought this was, put the fries for a second. No, I'm not like, I see, and the thing about ICT, he's a good teacher, but let's face it, is he a good trader? I don't know. So far, he hasn't really proven himself to be. But it don't really matter for me. I just don't like. What makes me mad is when people say, "Oh, ICT, he invented this," and spewing a bunch of BS. How he like he coded the markets, and like, do people really believe that the dude made the algorithm? Come on, man. That's freaking insane. That's the equivalent to me saying, you know, I invented freaking, you know, whatever on a car. I invented cars. I invented, like, bro, that's not even a possibility that he coded the algorithm. It's just like, you say that and people are just gonna think you're a little weird. A little, you know, something's going on. No hate to the guy. Hey, he's a good marketer. But he didn't invent the concepts. The concepts have been around before him. He just gave him a mainstream name to him. All right, still bearish. Price is still bearish. I'm overall, if we can get a sweep of this high now, that's what I'm interested in. At this point where price is, I'm looking for a move down than more of a move up, right? So like if price comes back up, starts to take out these highs, and then starts dumping back down, closes below this gap, closes below the pivot, below all this, I would still be looking for a short. I sit back weekly, collect dividends from Ulti. Hey, if it, yeah, there's a lot of. I mean, that's like that's an investment. Like that's a buy and long term hold, and it's not bad. Yeah, that's a good. It's a safer strategy, I guess. Or is it? There's always risk. Anytime you put your money in the market, there's always a form of risk. It's not a matter of you know. It's a matter of how risky do you want to be. That's the thing. People that want to be on the safest side put their money into S&P 500, put their money in a long-term hold for NASDAQ. That's a safe hold, right? Over the long term, S&P 500, NASDAQ just goes up over long term. Like if you look at the past 10-year chart on S&P and NASDAQ, it's just like this. Now it does have pullbacks, but over time it's on an uptrend. So that's why it's always the safest bet. That's why 401ks are in S&P, NASDAQ, and all this. But you know, it depends how risky you want to be. Investing into one company obviously is a little more risky because something can happen with that company. Day trading, a little more risky because you're buying and selling within minutes. So, but no matter if you're a swing trader, a scalper, day trader, it's all about managing risk. That's one thing that you have control in this market is managing risk. You don't have control where price goes, but one thing you do have control over is get out of a trade that you think is going to be a loser. The faster you realize it's going to be a loser, the faster. For example, right? I'll give you an example real quick. If price, let's say, let's get this box back in. And this is how I would look at it, right? We have this gap right here. Say, for example, say price was to sweep this, right? Price to move up, and then price was to close above this gap. As price closes above this gap, I would be like, okay, I'm more long biased now, so I'm bullish. So say if I entered at the close above this gap, say price went up here, and then say price started to dump back down, and price started to close below this gap. Now, is it smart to just get out of this trade as we close below this gap and take a quick small loss and then possibly re-enter if price confirms that it goes back up? Or is it smart to hold for a full stop out? And you can see how much money I would be saving if I get out early and I realize, oh, price is closing now below. I don't like this anymore. And I can either get a quick stop out right here for a tiny loss, or I can wait for the full stop out and I waste way more money. So when you can realize as soon as possible that you don't like the trade anymore and you get out, you're protecting your profits. Because you can always get back in, right? That's the thing about trading. You can always get back in. If you take a small loss, you can always jump back into the trade if you like start to, you know, it starts to confirm what you want it to do. But one thing you don't want to be is holding and hoping it goes back up. Hoping. It turns ugly. It turns very ugly. Imagine somebody that longed right here. Imagine somebody that tried to long right here, right? Off of the bounce of maybe this level right here. There's a level right there. If they're trying to long off of that level, and they took a long right here, and that person is holding and hoping it goes back up. Holding and hoping. What happened? He blew his account. Or she. He or she blew his account because they were holding and hoping. Nice selling point. I don't have anything to sell. That's the thing. Bro, I'm like one of the only people who doesn't have a... I'm one of the only people in this space. I do not have a Discord. I do not have a freaking, you know, whatever, a course. I ain't got nothing. All I got is my chart. Crap. Ugh. Ugh. The only thing I could have taken, possibly, was this kind of quick scalp to this pivot. But then again, I don't know. I wouldn't like that either. So the hardest part of trading is being patient. Hands off, right? Being able to look for your levels, and if it doesn't happen, walk away. You don't need to trade every single day. That's just that's a freaking influencer, like trading influencer type of thing where they take trades every like 10 minutes. They'll hop into a trade, bro. Like, people do that. You don't realize people do that because on like TikTok and stuff, anytime you'll see them, they're always in a trade. I see those people on TikTok. It's a marketing thing, right? Obviously, you get more viewers when you're in a trade. So they're always wanting to be in a trade so they get more views. But in the reality grand scheme of trading, you do not want to just keep, you know, being in a trade every 10 minutes. Unless maybe you're a scalper. And then it's like, I don't know. I don't know much people that are scalpers like that are actually making like good money. Making money. But even if you're a scalper, you still aren't taking trades too often, I would assume. Like, you're still looking for a setup, right? It's not like your setup happens every 5 minutes. That doesn't work that way. Even if you're a scalper. Price just can't get above. Oh, price. Oh my gosh. Even if you, and here's the thing, even if you hop on the chart and you don't take a trade, say you don't take a trade, understand this. Watching the charts is still valuable, right? Watching price action is still valuable, even if you don't take a trade. You build that muscle, you build that, like, experience. The more you stare at the chart, the more experience you have, the better off you are. Being able to even look at the chart and realize, like, understand why price is doing what it's doing, and, you know, being able to even sit here and go, okay, if it breaks this level, price is most likely to go to this level. If it can't hold this level, then it's going to drop to this level. And you're just kind of like making predictions based off of where price is currently. Where can it go to next? Like, price swept this right here, right? Price swept this. And initially, I would like to go to this high, possibly to sweep it. But I understand there's the 200, there's the view op, there's the pivot, there's a lot of stuff to get through. So I understand why it rejected right there and didn't go for the highs. I fully understand why it did that. So that next time if I do take a trade and we have a bunch of these levels up here, I understand that it can reject off those levels, so I'm more likely to take profits before it gets to those levels, or not even take the trade. Oh, the chart, nice sell point. Oh, I thought you, I thought you meant like, nice selling point. Yeah, I mean, it is a good sell. Like, if it's your strategy, that's the thing. Here's the thing: if you take a short and you end up making money, but you don't know why you took that short, it's not a good trade. You're gonna, over the long run, you're gonna lose a lot of money doing that, right? You just got lucky. So it's not like you're automatically a good trader because you caught this short right here. Unless you have a plan and you realized why you took that short and you stuck to that plan and you took profits where you did. You understand why you took profits. You understood where your stop was and you made money. That's a good trade. But if you just blindly shorted and made money, that's not a good trade. What time frames you like the best? So you gotta, the thing about time frames is, right, time frames are all I mean, people call them fractal, but pretty much everything is the same thing, right? No matter if you're looking at the 1 hour time frame, right, the 1 minute time frame, it just zooms out, right? The 1 minute time frame is very zoomed into price. The 15-minute time frame is very zoomed out, so you get like a bird's eye view of what price is doing. So what I like to do is in the mornings, I like to start out on the 15-minute time frame, and I like to look for my levels on the 15-minute time frame, right? So when price, for example, this morning, price opened up, I had this level right here because I understood it's a pretty major level. Price bounced off it and had a pretty big rip off that level. So I understood if we get back to that level, it's going to be a pretty strong level, and you see what happened. I mean, you see what price did. As we push down to that level, look at the wicks. These wicks indicate a lot of buying pressure at that level. So we got buying pressure step in, then we had another buying pressure step in, right? And then we sold off, and now that level became resistance. So now it's kind of zoomed out. You see what price is doing zoomed out. On the 15-minute time frame, buyers stepped in aggressively on that level, and you see that by the wick. Now, if you want to zoom in a little bit more, you zoom into the 1 minute chart, and you kind of see every 1 minute candle what price was doing. But it's the same thing. It's just zoomed in. And what a lot of people like to do is they look on the higher time frame for areas, levels of interest, and then they look on the 1 minute time frame for those like sniper entries to be able to snipe like a good entry on a 1 minute chart. But you're looking on a bigger level for an entry, and then you're just zooming into a 1 minute chart for an even more precise entry. But in essence, every level is the same thing. It's just giving you a different lens of what's going on. A zoomed out lens versus a super zoomed in lens. Dude, there are people who trade on the 30-second time frame. That's like super zoomed in. That's like you freaking with a magnifying glass. So price is still rejecting. What time is it? It's 10:49. Tomorrow is FOMC. FOMC tomorrow. It's gonna be freaking interesting. A lot of people are blowing accounts tomorrow. Tomorrow's account blow up day. A lot of people like to gamble FOMC to pass accounts, but it's like, I mean, I can't lie, I've done it once. I passed accounts once doing that. But it's like, if you're doing that and you don't know, like, if you don't actually have a strategy, people do that to quickly pass accounts, but if you don't have a strategy, you're just going to blow those accounts again. The best thing to do is, like, actually, like, have a strategy and pass accounts that way. Price is freaking just stuck. It's stuck. It's freaking stuck. All right, hold on. I'll be back in a second. All right, price is stuck. And here's the thing, the closer we get to like 11 o'clock, 12, I'm less likely to take like, if I do take a trade, it's a very quick scalp because price typically starts to move sideways. Like it starts to die down at like 11. Yeah, it's like, maybe I'll take a trade, but typically, man, I'll take a trade if there's a setup, but I'm a lot more cautious. Maybe I'll size down. I'll probably size down risk-wise just because of the time. I know it's slower. Other thing is, 11 o'clock, you're more risk. There's more risk to get stuck in a sideways movement. You see how price, right? Like you could tell. Look how price was moving when market opened for the past freaking 30 minutes. Even here, look at price is moving. As we get closer to 11 o'clock, it just kind of like, you see price movement, how much slower it is. What's it gonna do? They're gonna go down to this level. It's a pretty interesting level, to be honest with you. Back to the 15-minute. We still got that pivot. I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of support down here. Oh, it's starting to move. There's going to be a lot of support down here. We got that 200. We got that pivot point. And this is a pretty major level. Right? Price tapped once right here. And we had that big move up after it tapped. After this, I mean, we got these levels. Level down here is also very interesting. We'll see what happens. If I do take a trade, I'm gonna size down again. Just because at the time. Probably half risk. There it goes. Here's the other. Now, if price sweeps, right, we got these that can act as resistances. So that's something to be mindful of. If you're someone who's thinking about going long, understand that we got a lot of resistance right here now, right? Because it held it as support. So now if it breaks it, it could hold it as resistance now to go. So that's just that's an extra level of like, man, this trade almost a pivot point, yeah. Very close. It pretty much double bottomed right there at that price. Look at my line. Perfect. Bounced right off it. So we haven't taken it out yet. We've literally just double bottomed. But 15 minute. Let's go back to the 15-minute and see what's going on. So you could see. Remember, I knew price was gonna bounce there. There's gonna be some form of a bounce there. Did it tap? It's hard to tell. Did it sweep it? Maybe it did sweep it. Hold on. Maybe I just have my line drawn pretty bad. I have to look at the... Alright. Oh, it did sweep it. I think it did sweep it a little bit. Did it? It barely swept it. Let me see. Let me look on this chart. I have my levels. I can actually read the all right, the low of this. Yeah, it did sweep it. Take a small long. Yeah, if I do take a long, I understand that this could act as resistance right here. I don't like taking longs into like a resistance like that, but I may take a very small position because I know how risky this trade is. So let's see. I would probably do probably like 3 contracts maybe. A small trader, maybe like 3 micros. Because I know it's a little riskier, so I'm just sized down. I mean, maybe it breaks it, but I don't like longing when there is this much resistance, right? I like longing into something where there's no stopping it, right? Where it's pretty much a straight shot. So when I long, I don't see any reason why price should stop there. Here, I see a reason why price should stop at this level. So I run a risk of longing, right? It tapping into here and then it dumping right back down. So I kind of adjust my risk based off of how much stuff I have to get through to, you know. This is a swing long. Yeah, I just don't want to sit. I don't swing trade. I don't hold for long term. So, but I could see why. I mean, somebody would take a long term swing here. We have so much to get through. Like, we have view up here. We have. I don't want to get stuck in a trade all day long. That's the worst. I want to get in and get out. And when I leave, I don't want to have any trades on the book. Like, you know, it's kind of looking like a bear flag. I don't like it. Alright, maybe we got 20 seconds left. I'll potentially take a long for like a quick scalp. Just cause. But I understand it's a little bit on the riskier side because of that level. I don't like that level there. Never closed. We'll see what happens here. Actually, it's starting to reject off it. So if we can, only thing we have is that. So if I would get long here, let's see. I would my TP would have to be like right there. So it'd be like late entry, more risky. Yeah, I didn't. I'm not gonna even think about taking a long if it doesn't close above this gap. This gap is kind of like my. If it closes above it, I'll think about taking a long. But if it doesn't, then I'm not. I don't like how it was starting to look like a... Alright, let's see what happens here. Got like 40 seconds left. Let's see. Bro, if this starts ripping like crazy, Let's see. All right. Starting to get a little more interesting. 10 seconds left. 10, 9, 8. See if this can close. All right. I'm going to take a quick scalp, but we'll see what happens. So obviously stop below the lows. Put my stop in first. Let's see. My TP is going to be like right there. The body candle highs. Because I know there's a lot of resistance up here. It's going to be a tough area to get through this level. I pretty much have my TP right under all these major levels here. Because I know it's going to have a tough time. So it could easily reject there. So we'll see what happens. See, I knew that price is going to have trouble. It has to get through this 548 level. In order for it to hit my TP, if it can get through that 548 level, I'm looking pretty good. As of now, is this NQ? Yeah, this NQ futures. Appreciate the follow. Rip it. Rip it. Rip it. We're bouncing off that pivot point, so and we can't get it. Let's go. Crap. This is where I should get out. All right, let me do this. I'm gonna get out just because we closed. If we close back above, I'll think about getting long again. I'm trying to preserve my profits. This is where I talked about earlier, right? Preserving your profits. I understood if we get a close below this gap, I'm not interested anymore because now we can very likely to get down to my TP, my stop loss. I do not want to get stopped out for a full stop out, meaning I'd rather be patient. I can always re-enter. If it gets back above, I can always re-enter, right? No big deal. But I just saved, right? Say 40 times, so 40. I just saved pretty much 120 bucks by not getting that full. That's not to say I can't get back in, right? If this starts to confirm back up, I wouldn't mind getting back in. But as of now, I'm risk off. I took a very small loss and I'm risk off. Because I understand if it closes below, now we're more likely to go down here. Part of protecting your profits. See that? I just saved myself how much? $120 by taking an early stop out. So I'm down 80 bucks instead of 100 and instead of it would have been, oops, it would have been, right, instead of taking a $200 loss, I only took an $80 loss. That's what I mean about protecting profits. And I can get back in. If price was to start ripping back up and start closing back, I can always get back in. There. Boom, I would have got stopped out. And that's a skill that I'm trying to develop, is realizing when a loss is coming. And the faster you realize your loss, the more you protect your profits, the better off you are. But if you're somebody who's like egotistical, who just can't accept the loss, can't accept that you're wrong, it's not even wrong. Trading is a game of probability. So if you can't accept your loss, it's not going to be good. It's not going to go good for you. You're just going to lose a lot of money if you're like very egotistical and I said, remember I said it's gonna have a hard time. I don't like taking trades when we have these kind of levels to get through. I understood that it could be a rejection off of there. That's why I was very lightly sized. We have this level to get through. We have these two levels to get through. Anytime you have a support, right? Anytime you have a level like this that holds as support, and then you break through it and you push back up to it, there's a decent chance that it can hold as resistance to move all the way back down. If you knew that, if you closed below the box, why not put your stop loss there? I didn't put my stop loss there because a lot of times what you get is you get wicks, right? Like what happened here. Just a kind of like an example of price likes to wick into it. So price wicks into it. So I don't want to get out of it just because price is down there. I want to get out of it if price closes below. So price could have easily, it could have went up, it could have came down, it could have wicked, and it could have went back up right away. And that's fine. That showed me extra confirmation that buyers are stepping in aggressively. Like wicks like down here, that could have happened. So, but if price ends up closing, well then that's a different story because it closed below the gap instead of just wicking it and moving back up. And that's just that I've seen that based on history, like, right? Based on history, I know like if I take a long above the gap and price doesn't go in my favor and it ends up going and ends up closing back below the gap, I know to get out. But because based on history, I know that typically, right, like 8 out of 10 times, it's going to be a full stop out if it closes back below. So I'd rather get out early, and then I can always re-enter and just protect I just saved myself, right, on that trade. I'd save myself 120 bucks by doing that. So initially I was trying to make, right, almost 200 bucks, and I only took an $80 stop loss. So next trade, if it ends up working, and there's a lot of trades, right, that go immediately in your favor. They just start pushing to your TP. And it's very easy to make back an $80 loss versus, you know, a full stop out of 200 bucks. Because next trade I can, you know, I can make back my losses easily. Now at this point, I mean, it's not really doing anything much. I mean, it could go sideways for the rest of the. What time is it? 11:09. I think prices is gonna go sideways. Look back on the 15-minute. I mean, we're still at that level. We do have a gap down here. And then we have this major level at that pivot. Starting to move back up. But now because it swept these lows, now obviously I'm not going to take a long above this gap. It already swept these lows. I'm not taking a long. Because then what's going to happen is you're going to take a long above this gap. It's going to sweep this high and it's going to dump right back down. And you're going to take another loss. So that long, this gap is now invalidated. The fact that it swept these lows, it could easily come back, sweep the highs, and dump back down. So that's invalidated. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Alright. I think I'm gonna hop off soon. I mean, I don't see any more trades even getting close to. Right now, it's just like sideways. Still up on my accounts. It's alright. Still up on my accounts. Dang. Really? It's gonna sweep those lows like that? See, if there was another entry, there's the only gap we have is right there, but bro, I'm not taking a long at these highs. No siree. No, no, no. Ugh, I think I think I'm done for the day. We'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow's FOMC. I hope price doesn't go sideways tomorrow. We'll see if we can catch a quick scalp tomorrow. Look at that. Dump back down. So, alright. Well, I'm going to hop off. I'll be back tomorrow. I will be back. We will do this again. So, thank you guys for joining. If you're going to keep trading, be careful. Manage your risk. Remember, manage your risk. You never want to end up, you know, giving away months worth of profits. Take your loss. And, but, yeah, so, all right. Peace out. Have a good one. I'll see you guys tomorrow.